Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Ultimate Fighter Season 8 winner, Efrain Escudero. Efrain, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Efrain, you got a fight coming up this Saturday night at Superior Challenge 10. Before we get talking about that fight, I wanted to ask you about some of your most recent fights. Let's just take it from the top. Your last fight was back at RFA. I believe it was 13. You fought against Dakota Cochran. You lost the fight by unanimous decision. I personally scored the bout a draw. I gave Dakota Cochran the first and second round 10-9, and then I gave you the third round 10-8. Just curious, what did you score the fight as?
I kind of stand with you. Round two was kind of like a coin toss. It was back and forth. I think I did more off my back than he did because, I was going from heel hook, triangles, to arm bars. I was going back and forth. All he was doing was defending. And, during the fight, I thought to myself, man, I am down 2 rounds. But, once I got home and I saw the fight, I actually kind of scored it more towards me. At the end of the day, the judges saw that he was on top of me, but they didn't put into consideration how much work I was doing for my back. But, with that being said, okay, so if we do give him that, I say round 3 was definitely a 10-8 round, Mm-hmm. I had back and forth. He slipped. We went straight up. He rolled straight into my triangle, and then when he escaped, we went up. I jumped to a heel hook. I did everything I could to finish that fight in the third round, and all he did was defend. And, the judges gave him a unanimous decision. I have no idea what they were seeing, but at the end of the day, we went to his hometown, and we fought, at his home state, and we fought there. So, he was the favorite to go and win, and, oh well, it happens, and that's what they say, you can't leave it to the judges, but, at the end of the day, I was trying to finish at all times.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, if that third round wasn't a 10-8, then I've never seen a 10-8 ever, because you were completely dominant. You were all over him. Were you surprised that they didn't stop it? Because there was a point in time where there was just a bunch of unanswered shots you were laying on him, and he was moving, yes, but it could have been stopped, right? Was there a point where you thought, hey, the referee's going to step in right now?
Yeah, there was a time where the ref actually was standing over me and was telling Dakota to do something, and Dakota would not do anything. He would say, I'm good, and I kept punching him, and it was probably about 30 punches in. He started bleeding all over me, and I was still punching him, and all he was doing was trying to block a little bit of the shots that were coming in with, I had his right arm trapped, so he was trying to defend with his left, and then all of a sudden, the ref wasn't doing anything. I even told the ref, hey, when are you going to stop it? He would ask Dakota, are you okay? Dakota would, would mumble something, and the ref would be like, all right, cool, keep working. And I'm like, seriously?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do you have to do, If it came to a verbal, anybody can go into autopilot and just say something, but at the end of the day, oh well. Right.
Now, you mentioned midway through the second round is when you really started to get things going, and you like you said, you could make the case that the second round could have went your way, and in the third round was completely your way. You were dominant in that round. What changed for you? Because obviously the first round was clear cut for him. What happened? Were you just in better shape than him that allowed you to pull away at the end there and really lay it on him? Was it something where you just kind of figured out what he was doing, got his timing down? What exactly happened that allowed you to have such a great end to the fight?
I don't know. I was in perfectly good shape. One of the first rounds, we knew that he was going to be super strong, and I knew that he was going to come out and bang. He did it with Jamie Varner, which Jamie has tremendous hands, but at the end of the day, he didn't do that with me. He didn't want to sit there and trade. I have no idea why. Knowing that I was a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu guy, he actually just literally took me down and held me in the first round. And when he came out strong, he was really, really strong. So I just, in the first round, I kind of let him try to gas him out. I knew that it was going to be kind of leave it up to him, trying to get him tired, trying to make him care. But now in the second round, I had to pick it up. We knew that he was going to come out again and try to take me down and hold me. Because in his interview, he said he's going to win regardless of how he does it, even if he takes me down and holds me there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how much of a setback do you think this loss is? Because if anyone goes back and watches the fight, they'll know that the way the fight was scored is not how the fight played out. Like, if you look at it on paper and then you go watch the fight, you'd be like, what's going on here? Why are the judges scoring it this way? A lot of people out there, some people even gave it a 10-7, and you would have won on that 28-27 on some people's scorecards. A 10-7 is crazy, but I mean, it was a very dominant round for you. With that being said, and that being out there, how much of a setback do you think this loss was?
It wasn't even a setback. At the end of the day, I went back and I looked at the Twitter. After I went on Twitter the next day, and the way I felt, I didn't feel like I lost. Like this felt like I got kind of like robbed. It kind of just went the other way. I did everything I could. He was strong. He did everything. I tried to stop the fight. I tried to finish the fight. And many of my fans that did see the fight actually stood behind me and twittered about it, talked about it, expressed their feelings, and that made me actually feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling a little down, kind of like, man, like another loss of my record. But I just got to stop letting it go to the judges. I got to stop letting rounds slip by. I got to win every position. I got to continue. Nobody's gonna hold me down anymore. Nobody's gonna lay and play on me. And I'm gonna let my hands go. I gotta be first. I gotta be explosive. I gotta go back to my roots, and I just gotta have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, two other fights I wanted to ask you about. The first one was the Marcus Edwards fight. You fought him in June of 2013, and then George Patino, you fought him in May of 2013. Some people say that you lost the Marcus Edwards fight, but won the George Patino fight. What are your thoughts about those fights? Do you think that they got it right? You lost the Patino fight and beat Marcus Edwards? Do you think you won both fights? Do you think you lost both fights? What do you think?
Okay, the Patino fight in Brazil, that was a complete bogus fight. I have no idea who the judges were on that card. Once again, left it to the judges. And I have no idea which fight they were looking at. I completely dominated that fight. Every single position. He did not take me down. He tried to shoot. He tried to control. He did not take me down at all. I beat him up. I literally picked him apart on my feet in Brazil. And, I lost the decision. This guy comes in overweight, weighs in. They don't do nothing. We go out there and we fight, Somehow I lost the fight. He gets the belt, So it was pretty much like something to do with the Brazilian judges or whatever. Not saying anything about the Brazilian people. It's just the judges and the way it was going.
Right.
The Marcus Edwards fight, I don't think I lost that at all. If you go back and watch that fight, I pretty much clearly won that fight. I won the exchanges. I took him down. I pounded him. I went for submissions. He didn't take me down. He didn't do anything. He was in there showboating, and he would throw major kicks and hit my glove, not even major do anything, and the crowd would go crazy. So I don't know where this is actually the first time I hear that somebody said I lost that fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't been able to watch that fight. I found it on YouTube yesterday, but I wasn't able to watch the Marcus Edwards fight. But I heard it on some other show, some other podcast. Somebody was talking about that fight against you and Edwards, and they said that they thought Edwards won. But I don't know. It could be somebody from the Colorado area. I don't know. Maybe he's a friend of his. I don't know what the deal is, but I heard that. But I haven't been able to see it, so I just wanted to ask you about it because you lived it. So the Dakota Cochran fight or the Patino fight, what's the one where you feel more ripped off in? Is it the Patino one?
Yeah, the Patino I feel more ripped off, especially because he had like both of them hurt, both of them sting, and their losses on my record. But if I can reflect on my fighting career and which fight I hated the most was the one going to Brazil. The whole knowing you did everything possible. And like I said, during the fight against Dakota Cochran, I told myself it could have easily been a draw, and it would have been like, cool, like immediate rematch. All right, cool. I'll take the draw and let's do an immediate rematch. Let's go for it. But you know, there was a possibility where some judges actually favored him. You know, but the Patino, that was a complete ripoff. That was, you know, for a long time. And still to this day, like, you know, I would go online and I would call him out because after the fight, he told me, like, you know what, man, that was a bogus fight. I would do a rematch. And I said, all right, cool. And then he came back and said, after I got back in the States, I heard an interview saying that, you know, Efrain's a better dancer than he is a fighter. And if he wants to fight me again, he has to fight like 5 of my guys. And I'm like, seriously, dude? Like, and I kept calling him out. And you know, I disliked him for a long time. You know, not as a person. Like, I don't know him personally. Like, I wish him nothing but the best. You know, him and his family, whoever it is. But as a fighting perspective and as an athlete and as a competitor, I disrespect him in all ways. You know, I don't really care for him. I just like whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just curious, and I hope you can explain it for me. Why was that fight a 3-round fight? Was it because he came in overweight? And with him coming in overweight, why would it still be for the belt? Why would he get the belt after the fight? You know, I thought he came in overweight. Why would it still be a title fight?
I don't know, man. I don't really know exactly how it happened. I think at the end of the day, we kind of like agreed. You know, they were like trying to like hassle us around that. You know, he's going to try to make weight. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And then I just kind of like, I was all frustrated cutting weight. So I was just like, whatever, you know, like, cool. And then, you know, it was just what we agreed to, you know, a championship 3-rounder, you know. It was just one of those fights.
Mm-hmm. Now, going forward, are you a little bit relieved that you're not fighting a Swede in Sweden this time around? Obviously, you were supposed to fight Reza Madadi, but with the way these decisions have gone with these guys fighting in their hometown or home country, are you a little bit, more relaxed, have a better feeling about fighting someone from a different country over there now?
No, not really. You know, I'm still with the same mindset. You know, we can't leave it to the judges. We got to be first. We got to get off the bottom. We got to move. And I'm not trying to find any emotion. I'm not trying to like feel like angry. I'm not trying to go out there. I'm just gonna go out there, keep my composure, be first, let my hands go, let my kicks go, use my wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything. You know, win every scramble. Move. I am in top shape right now. I'm already 163 right now. I don't weigh in until Friday. So weight's good. Everything's good. You know, I've done everything that I had to do for this fight. So, you know, it doesn't change the matter of who I'm fighting. I could be fighting, you know, Anderson Silva, and I'll still try to beat him. You know, even if I get knocked out, I'm still gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to like put it all out there. Mm-hmm. I'm done trying to go and take care of my record. I'm going back and I'm doing what I used to do and just have fun and let everything take care of itself. Just go out there and compete. And, you know, don't worry about the judges. You know, there's no judges when you're in there, so go out there, win every scramble, win every exchange, mm-hmm. and everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, when did you get the offer for this fight?
I had it right after the Dakota Cochran. I got an email, and they actually offered me the Raza fight, and I actually I was very intrigued with the matchup. You know, I was like, you know, he's a very talented fighter. He's fought some good names and he beat some good names. So I was expecting a good, like, 3-minute. I'm still expecting a good war. And like, you know, he was going to mix it up and he was going to go in there and wrestle and hit and, you know, try to go to jiu-jitsu, play the guard game off his back and everything, you know. So it was something. So I was very intrigued right after the Dakota Cochran. I got an email saying if I wanted to take the fight. And, you know, a fight like this and, you know, them overlooking, just like they said, you know, we saw the fight and, you know, we don't think you lost that fight, so we're giving you the title. I was like, cool. Thank you.
Right. Now, Reza Madadi, he was released by the UFC because he had something, he had some charges, he had some sort of a crime he committed, and he did some jail time. When you got the offer, were you surprised that they were offering you Madadi? Did you still think he was in jail? Because I was kind of surprised that they offered him you. I thought he was
not
still
really. You know, I'm not very big on staying active anymore. You know, ever since I have ever since I became a dad, I don't stay and follow all the fighters and stuff because now my daughter can walk. So now I got to chase after her instead of looking on the internet, see what's going on around the world with fighters. So I was I knew, I heard what was happening, but I didn't put two and two together until afterwards. So somebody posted a comment like, "Hey, I thought he was still in jail," and that's when I went out back and I looked at him, and I was like, "Oh snap! That's why he got released."
Right.
You know, I didn't really like put two and two together until like a week after. But you know, I do volunteer work at prisons. I you know, my criminal justice degree. You know, I come from, you know, I come from a family that was always in trouble, and you know, I grew up self-teaching myself how to stay out of trouble. So to me, I still, you know, he got in trouble. He did what he had to do, whatever. You know, I don't really care. At the end of the day, he's still a dangerous opponent. You know, I can't be like, oh, well, I can't think about him any less because he did committed a crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a little disappointed that this fight against Madadi isn't happening because, you know, he's still a UFC talent. You know, he still has, you know, the credentials to still be a part of the organization. Obviously, they released him because of stuff he did outside the cage, but inside the cage, he was just coming off a win against Michael Johnson. He submitted him in his most recent fight. So I'm a little disappointed that that this fight isn't taking place, because I think if you would have beaten him, that would have been a great feather to put in your cap. So I'm a little disappointed this isn't happening. I'm just curious, when exactly did you get the call that Madadi was injured and wasn't able to fight on May 3rd?
I actually got the call on last Friday.
Okay.
This past Friday. So, you know, I got it a week before the fight, and I was a little in shock because we've been training for a complete different fighter. But, you know, I'm never going to turn down a fight. I'm a fighter at heart. I'm a gamer. I go out there and, you know, sometimes you wrestle different kind of guys that when you're out wrestling at a competition, sometimes you box different boxers and sometimes you train with kickboxers. Like, you know, you always have to prepare for everything, you know. So, you know, this really didn't affect me. And the good thing is I train at the MMA lab. I have had, you know, training partners like Benson, Joe Riggs, Yati Meza, John Moraga, you know, Bruce Leroy, John Tuck, you know, phenomenal guys, Taquino. So I've seen everything. I've seen from World Jiu-Jitsu champions to Abu Dhabi champions when I train on a daily basis to, you know, Rick Story was training with us last week. So there's nothing I haven't seen when it comes to fighting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, with Madadi out, they found your replacement opponent. First question about this guy. Can you say his name? Do you know how to say his name? Because I don't.
No, I failed. Failed question one.
Okay, we're just going to call him JPV. I guess we'll go with that because I don't want to butcher the guy's name. So JPV, besides not knowing his name, you know, you don't know that, but what do you know about him? What do you know about his skill as a fighter?
One of our guys fought him, a guy from Poland that's with us fought him before, you know, and beat him. So I know he's long. He tries to keep his reach. He tries to, you know, he tries to go out there and put on a show, and he tries to finish guys. He has a pretty good triangle choke. You know, he's long, so he likes to use those that reach on people. But I'm not really like, you know, I'm not overlooking it. But you know, I have some secrets up my sleeve.
Okay, I see. Now, when do you leave to go to Sweden?
I leave tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Oh, that's soon. So I guess I caught you in the nick of time.
Yes, sir.
Now, who's going to be cornering you for this fight? Who are you going to bringing over to Sweden?
I'm actually taking Yatin Mensah. He's actually fighting June 7th UFC against Sergio Perez. And then I am taking John Crouch. Mm-hmm. And then Jose Mayorao, which is a high school buddy of mine that's always been traveling with me everywhere.
You fought most of your career in the United States. You've had some fights. The Patino fight was in Brazil, and then you fought some fights in Mexico. Now you're going probably the farthest you've ever traveled for a fight. You're going to Sweden. Are you looking forward to going over there for a fight?
You know, it's a fight. You know, I'm going out there to work. It's not pleasure. I gotta stay focused, keep my eye on the prize, go out there, do what I gotta do, and then come back.
How long's the journey? How long's the flight?
Leave tomorrow, Wednesday, to Sunday.
Oh, okay. Now, from what I understand, the Swedish government, they don't allow 5-round fights because when Rich Clementi fought Reza Madadi for Superior Challenge, it was only a 3-round fight. Is that the case still? Is it still only going to be a 3-round fight? Do you know about that?
Correct, yes. It's only a 3-round fight.
Oh, okay. I see. Now, is this a multiple fight deal you have with Superior Challenge? Because obviously they're putting you in a title fight, and should you win this fight, you'll become their champion because it's a vacant title you're fighting for. So I would assume it's a multiple fight deal, right?
Correct.
Okay. And one thing I wanted to ask you about was Bellator. What's the deal with them? You're a guy who seems to be, the prototype of guys who they want. Obviously they're on Spike TV now, and that's where you originally made a name for yourself, going through the Ultimate Fighter and then fighting on those prelim cards that used to be when they do a pay-per-view. You fought. I think it was who was it? I think it was Dan Lozon. I think you fought him on one of those cards. Yeah. So you seem to be the kind of guy that they want in their organization. You have a name, you have a good record, you fought a lot of guys, you fought in the UFC before, people know who you are. Why have they only put you on cards when they've come to Arizona? Why isn't there more of a deal in place? Is it something where you don't feel comfortable signing with them, or is it something where they haven't just put a good offer on the table? What exactly is with Bellator? Because it seems surprising to me, because you seem like a guy who, you're 2-0 under their banner, and they don't really seem to want to part with guys who do well under their organization. So, what's the deal with them?
Bellator, I have a good relationship with them. They're nothing. They treat me nothing but nice ever since I fought for them. But at the end of the day, we all have that dream to fight in the big stage. UFC's going to Mexico on November 10th. So, I have my eyes set on that. Bellator, we just really haven't sat down and had a conversation. I know I definitely don't want to do that tournament. Just because, it's the easiest and fastest way to the title. But it's just like, it's a long, prolonging fight. It's they have seasons. They don't fight like an everyday kind of deal. Like, they don't put on shows that aren't title. Not title. When they're not like just normal belts.
Right.
All their shows are either for the show, for the tournament, or they don't have them at all.
Right. I hear what you're saying. They're such a TV. They're like a TV show. They have to have the tournament because that's like the cliffhanger to keep you coming back from week to week. It's like they build the shows. They don't just do single fight bouts. They just do the tournament to keep people coming in and out. So I understand where you're coming from, and a lot of guys who've been fighting for as long as you have said they don't want to do the tournament. So I understand where you're coming from on that. RFA, do you still have a contract with them?
No, I don't. I actually just kind of do deal for deal with them. They're nothing but great people. I love working with their stars. I like working with all of them. They're very nice people, and I have nothing nice but to say about RFA.
Now, obviously, you've had multiple stints in the UFC. You fought, two little stints that you had with them. Oh, sorry. I said that you had 2 stints in the UFC. You had the original stint when you came off the Ultimate Fighter, and then you were released, and then you rebuilt yourself back up, and then had another stint, and now you're back out on the regional circuit, trying to make it back there again. How much of a better chance do you have to make another run in the UFC now that they're going back to Mexico? Does that increase your chances by a lot, or do you think that it's still the same amount of chances regardless where they go?
It doesn't matter, man. All I have to do is win, and if I win, then I'm gonna be on the radar. I just have to kind of stay on the busy end, and keep representing, keep putting wins under my record. Me that I've been in the show and I've done work. I'm a little more recognized not no more recognized, but I'm already. I have a foot on the door. I know Joe Silva personally. I know Dana White. I know all these people. So I know that I can talk to these guys on a one-on-one scale, especially having so many guys that are in the UFC. So I run into those guys periodically. So I just have to keep winning, and I just got to keep staying on the radar, staying busy.
Efrain, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
First off, I want to thank all my fans that have supported me, since day one. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And, to all my sponsors that are out there, I've been getting a lot of sponsors. I want to thank all in each of them. I want to thank Agman Water, the MMA Lab, Banner, let me see which other ones. I got a bunch of new sponsors. Bear with me.
Okay.
Rev Gear. All my sponsors. Anybody that has Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, go follow me at Efrain Escudero. Follow me. If you have any questions, you can go out there and ask me a question. I'm pretty good at responding back. I have fun with what I do, and I'm just an average Joe trying to live in a dream. So think that I'm not going to answer to you or anybody. And thank my management. Thank you very much for all the great work they're doing.
Efrain, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk. I know the fight's on Saturday, and I know you're a very busy man. You got this fight coming up, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me tonight, and best of luck coming up at Superior Challenge 10 this Saturday night.
All right, man. Thank you very much.